A leader's heart should always resonate with the cries of his people. You are not in charge, but your job is to take care of those in your charge. Coming up, MK Party has dismissed 18 MP members. And not only have they dismissed them, they have even replaced them already. Now, this is a party that is about 8 months old. And when we hear things like this so early, it's very concerning for those who support the very same party. Well, I wouldn't mind if maybe those 18 MP members were delinquent, they were disobeying some policies of the party or anything of that sort. But anything other than that, it raises eyebrows. Check this out.
Now, staying with that story, the MK party says it won't publicly comment on the expulsion of its former members of parliament. 10 out of the 18 MPs have approached the courts after failed attempts to engage the leader, Jacob Zuma. Tim Tongana reports.
These expelled MK party MPs are demanding answers for their axing. They've approached the courts for reinstatement and the halting of the swearing in of their replacements in Parliament.
They never engaged us, they never spoke to us. You must check how many times the list has been updated, the list going to Parliament. So if they engaged us prior and then there are new members who are coming in now, where does that space come from? Why did Sihle write to the Secretary of Parliament on the 5th of July, but in August he was deploying us to provinces? If we had been expelled and some of us had resigned in July, why was he deploying us to provinces to do constituency work?
Remaining tight-lipped about the move to oust the group, the newly announced Deputy President of the official opposition party, Dr. John Hlophe, says they have every right to go through the legal court system.
That matter is sub judice. As a matter of law, we do not comment on cases that are pending before court. All I can tell you is this. They have every right, just like any one of you here has any right to take anyone to court. You can make all kinds of allegations. At the end of the day, it is a judge sitting alone in his or her chambers who will decide the case on the 3rd of September. We are glad that the hearing date has been expedited and the matter will be finalized very soon.
The disgruntled ex-MPs have singled out individuals within the party, including the party's president's daughter, Duduzile Sambudler, and the spokesperson, Tlamulo Ndlela, saying their leadership qualities need to be challenged for the sake of the party and those who worked hard to help build it.
Yes. And if really bafuna exchange thina mhlawumbe ngohlobo abenza ngalo kuthi lento beza sebephethe abantu abangayazi ipeni yomkhonto ukuthi umkhonto usukaphi umkhonto kunabantu abakhuphe imali zabo kunabantu abathathe ixesha labo ukuthi benze ukuthi umkhonto ube lapha today kodwa abo bantu abo abekho sentshuba nakule replacement asiboni kwamagama wabo.
Their case will be back at the Western Cape High Court on the 3rd of September.
I believe with all of my heart that parties or even organizations and companies like in the corporate world should be very careful in dismissing people in such a huge number, because image is everything, especially MK party, because it's still young, so it's still selling itself out there for more votes so that in future they can be able to be in power. So But if things like this happen, and if you see a party dismissing its own people like that, it makes one wonder that if they dismiss their own people like this, then who are you coming from outside? A behavior like this one is dangerous because it scares voters. Because as a voter, you start wondering, or you start to wonder that if these people could do this to their own people, then who are you? If a party doesn't respect its own people and just dismiss people just willy-nilly like that, neither will be able to keep the voters. You will remember what happened with ANC. The moment they started all cocky and arrogant, dismissing people, not paying people, in fights, killing their own members, that was the beginning of their fall. Because it's only a matter of time, they won't care about the voters at all. Then the next thing, they started declining. Because if you don't respect the people that serve with you on a daily basis within the company, neither will you respect us, your voters. It's okay if MK is just disciplining those guys. Maybe those guys might have done something wrong. I understand. But if they haven't done anything really that is tangible, that is worth dismissing for, to me, that's arrogance already. To me, that speaks of arrogance, and it starts before fall.
The members of parliament expelled from the party say they're confident that they will win their case in the Western Cape High Court aimed at reversing their expulsion. The 10 former MPs are asking the court to reverse their removal as MPs and their expulsion. Now, the first applicant in the High Court case, Tami Kuzwayo, says their resignation letters were fabricated and he took aim at party chief whip Sihle Ngubane and Duduzile Zuma, among others. SABC News senior reporter Bulelani Philip spoke to Kuzwayo following their media conference.
According to my knowledge, I never signed any resignation letter. I've never sent any resignation letter to the MK party. I was ambushed by the letter from the Speaker's office to say that my membership as a Member of Parliament has been terminated because I've resigned from the party. So I know nothing about that. If there is such a letter, it means it was fabricated, and those who did that will have to go and answer in court.
So the reasons for what we call the expulsion from the party, have you been told what did you guys do?
Like I've said, there's no reasons whatsoever. There was no communication with us from the party. Absolutely nothing. We just got ambushed by the letters from Parliament. The party never said anything to us. And mind you, we have offices in Parliament where the chief whip is there. We see them every day. They've never told us anything with regard to the expulsions or the resignations or if they're going to replace us. There's never been any communication of such. So absolutely nothing. No reasons.
And who's responsible for all of this marginalization?
Well, the correspondence to the Secretary to Parliament and the Speaker is through the Chief Whip. So it's Comrade Sihle Ngubane, who is a signatory and who's also the Chief Whip of the party. So he was the one who was communicating with them.
And do you know if he's working with other people in the party?
If he's working with other people in terms of what?
In terms of implementing this removal of you MPs as members of parliament?
Well, definitely. I think there are some people that he's working with. He cannot be doing this alone. So there has to be people who are giving him their own reasons, who want to serve their own agendas. Like I've said, I know for a fact that Comrade Duduzile Zuma is part of that, as well as Comrade Mngobi Msezane is part of that. I know for a fact because at some point I've heard that Comrade Msezane was saying that he's going to make sure that I'm removed, and that was immediately after he joined us in Parliament, because he wasn't sworn in the same time that we were sworn in, but it was a replacement for the 5 that did not come to swear in. So I know that they're working together to do this.
Are you confident that you're going to win this review application in the Western Cape High Court? And if in any eventuality you don't, then what would be your next step?
Well, as an innocent person who was went to court to seek justice, I believe we are going to win this case only if the justice system works fairly. And if things go south, I don't know, but I guess that is going to be a bridge that we'll cross when we get to it. So I can't say this is what we are going to do because we don't know the outcome of the court. We just have to wait for court to proceed, and then after that we will know what to do.
Lastly, in court papers, you're saying that your removal is to make way for former or other members of the EFF that are expected to join the MK party. How do you back that up?
Well, there hasn't been a formal communication from the party to say that those members from the EFF are going to be joining us in Parliament.
And I repeat, if these 18 guys have done something wrong and there is something substantial that they have done, maybe they disobeyed the rules and the regulations of the company, of the party, sorry, or they disobeyed the policies of the party, by all means, they should go. By all means, they should go. We can't have people in the party who are swimming opposite direction than where the party is going. Or maybe if they were just lazy, they were just dead woods, by all means, they should got written off. But even if you do that as a party, you must do it internally. Do it nice and clean. But again, if really there is nothing substantial, that MK party dismissed the whole 18 people just for no good substantial reason, then that is a red flag. That's a red flag right there. And my other concern, guys, is Duduzile Zuma. I don't know if you MK members, MK supporters, you can see this. Kancane kancane lo sisi uyavela. Kancane kancane uyavela. Especially on those huge decisions where certain people have to be dismissed. At the back, it shows that who's calling it a shot is this lady, Duduzile Zuma. So it seems like, I don't know if you noticed, I watch MK very close, but it seems like some members, MK members, are not happy with this lady at all. Obviously, her close proximity with her dad, not only that, but being the decision maker, in other words, influencing her dad in making certain decisions. I'm not too sure. On this one, personally, I trust Zuma that he's not going to allow his daughter to take over his mind. In other words, to just control everything. He will keep her subdued a little bit because Zuma is a man with a mind of his own. But it seems like the way Duduzile Zuma behaves, it seems like she might have been promised something. Don't forget that Duduzane Zuma is not part of MK anymore. Oh, he never was. Not anymore, but he never was the part of MK. So obviously, Zuma's attention and the successor plans will gravitate on Duduzile Zuma. And the way she vibes, the way she moves, it seems like she might have been promised something by her dad. That's my thinking. That's me, guys, there. So, but yeah, so I trust Zuma on this one. But yeah, it's like she's been promised something. And guys, don't forget, Zuma is old now. He might leave us at any given time. So the question will be, what will remain of MK when the Zuma is gone? Will the Floyds and other leaders be able to handle Duduzile Zuma-Sambudla, this lady here? Think about that.
We also have had Comrade Ntlamulo, who is a spokesperson of the MK party, speaking and saying some things that we don't even know. So we want to put our side of the story. We're not here to fight anyone. We're not here to speak ill of anyone. But what we are here to do is to fight for our justice. So I'm just going to read a statement that we all prepared together. So it begins. We, the 10 members of Parliament recently reported to have been expelled from the MK party, wish to provide a formal response and address the situation publicly. First and foremost, we affirm that we remain members in good standing of the MK party and hold deep respect for President Jacob Zuma and his vision for a just and better South Africa. To date, none of us have received any official expulsion letters from the party. We have not signed any resignation letters, and if such documents exist, we believe that they may have been forged. We were informed by the Chief Whip of our alleged expulsion, while resignations were reportedly submitted to the Secretary and Speaker of Parliament without any direct communication with us. This process is not only irregular, but raises serious concerns about transparency and fairness. Our recent communication from Parliament stated that our membership as members of Parliament was terminated due to the loss of our party membership. We firmly believe that this constitutes fraud and a serious violation of legal and procedural standards. We have actively reached out to the party leadership through the Secretary General, Dr. Masego, and have been in constant communication with senior party leaders to express our grievances. And despite these efforts, we have been compelled to seek judicial intervention to address this matter. We have made significant personal sacrifices, including resigning from permanent employment based on the expectation of a full 5-year term in Parliament. The abrupt termination of our positions undermines our livelihoods and responsibilities as parents, household heads, and breadwinners. We are deeply concerned that certain individuals, including Comrade Sihle Ngubane, who is the Chief Whip of the MK party in Parliament, Duduzile Zuma, who is the daughter of President Zuma, Ngobi Msezane, who is apparently the MK Youth League leader, as well as the heads of students of whom Koto is the student movement. Comrade Ntlamulo is a spokesperson, Comrade Nchingila, and they are friends, they are cahoots. They are manipulating the party for personal gain. They are acting without proper consultation with the president or the broader party leadership. This has fostered an environment of fear and intimidation within the party, where dissent is met with expulsion. We urge the MK party to take a decisive action to address these issues. If not, the integrity and future of our organization is at risk.
Even Jabulani Khumalo blames Duduzile. Imagine that.
The MK party may have had a strong showing at the polls, but it seems the leadership battle is still on. Expelled leader Jabulani Khumalo is seeking reinstatement. He was expelled from the party earlier this year, and Khumalo also alleges that Duduzile Zuma-Sambudla forged his signature on a document sent to the IEC to create the impression that he was stepping down and Zuma would be his replacement. So,
yeah, I don't think that this hiring and firing thing is doing MK good, since they are still a small party. So what do you think? Let me hear your comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.